It was December 24th on Hollis Avenue, dog. When I see a man chillin' with his dog in the park, I approached very slowly with my heart full of fear. Looked at his dog. Oh my God, a ill reindeer. I murdered that.
You did.
That was that, and not in a good way either. Not in like the I killed that shit.
No,
I like killed it.
It died.
Negatively.
It died.
No positive connotations to that. Well, welcome back to another very special Christmas episode of One Giant Leap for Geeks. I'm your host, as always, Mike C. Squared. My lovely co-host for the evening, A-Train, is with me as well.
What's up?
And we have something special for you today. Now, if you listened last week for our special centennial episode, yeah, that's 100th centennial, yeah. And I said during that we were going to have a non-traditional episode this week because tomorrow is Christmas. As we're recording this, it'll probably be Christmas when you hear it, but still. And I didn't want to go full on because it's holiday time, but I wanted to do something special just the same. I'm a year too late for this special thing, but I still am going to try and do my best to make it work. So we wanted to, because A-Train has never seen the greatest Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard.
Nope, never seen it.
So
well, I've seen it now.
Yes, you have seen it now. And the reason I say I'm late doing this is because Die Hard came out in 1988, and last year would have made it 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I missed that boat. Fuck. But
that ship has sailed.
Yeah, but just the same, we were still going to give you a retrospective review. To be totally honest with you, I don't know what I can say about this movie that hasn't already been said over the last 31 years that it's been out, but I'll do my best. So going into it, and sorry if you hear some gnawing sound in the background, my dog, he got a antler for Christmas, a deer antler, and he is going to town on that shit. So you may hear some in the background, so just try to ignore that.
At least he's not barking.
Yeah, give it time. So, yeah, like I said at the beginning, the movie was released in 1988. I think it came out in July of 1988, which is weird because the movie takes place on Christmas. Yeah, but it was a summer action movie, so there you go. It stars
Christmas in July.
There you go. There you go. See right there. It stars Bruce Willis, Alan Rickman, Bonnie Bedelia, and a slew of other actors that have been like character actors in other movies or just like smaller roles or like had a big TV presence, like our guy Sergeant Powell.
Mm-hmm.
From
Family Matters.
Yeah, Carl Winslow. Yeah, from Family Matters. Yeah. Reginald Johnson, I think, is the actor's name, and yeah. So the setup for anyone who hasn't seen Die Hard, if you have not seen Die Hard, you need to go watch fucking Die Hard. It's become, in the 31 years since it came out, it's become one of those things where it's like, it's that movie that everybody tells you need to watch, and it kind of is like, yeah, whatever, I know, Die Hard. But seriously, if you haven't watched Die Hard, I would highly recommend it. It is a very, very well-made, tight script, and it is actually pretty funny. I forgot how many jokes are in this, because it's been a while since I've watched the original. And going back and watching it recently, I was like, wow, this is actually a lot funnier than what I remember it being. But at the time of release, Bruce Willis had only done like 2 other feature films, and they were like romantic comedies, I think. And he was at the time on a TV show called Moonlighting, where he plays a detective or something, but it's like a comedy show. I've never seen the show. I've never seen his 2 movies prior to Die Hard, but this movie skyrocketed his career. Like, the reason you even know Bruce Willis's name is because of fucking Die Hard, because he was, not slumming it per se, but he was definitely no A-list actor by no means. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because you love Bruce Willis.
I do.
And you love the Red movies. Mm-hmm. You liked him in Glass, even though that movie is fucking terrible. And a bunch of other things. But you're not familiar with Bruce Willis from back in the day.
No.
So you've always known Bruce Willis as like the middle-aged action hero that was the bald dude.
Yep.
I don't think you've even seen Bruce Willis with hair until you saw that.
I'm like, who is that?
Or who the fuck is this on the screen? I thought you said Bruce Willis is in this.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah. So this was the movie that put him on the map, and look, the argument's been made for years and years. That one person that thought they was being a smartass was like, somebody said, like, what's your favorite Christmas movie? And they sat and thought for a minute, and then they got a smile that came across their face, and it was like, Die Hard. And ever since that one asshole said that, everybody's been like, oh, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Now it's trying to get validation, like, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Is it not? Look, it takes place on Christmas. There's Christmas songs in it. He's going to meet his wife at a Christmas party in the first place. And they fucking play Let It Snow at the end of the goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Hell, the Ode to Joy, the dun, 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 that plays throughout the entire, that's like the villain's theme song in the movie. So I'm like, yes, it ain't got Santa Claus and presents in it, but it's a Christmas movie, just the
There's
same.
presents.
Yeah, there's presents. Okay, sure. So no Santa.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, if that's your only requirement to make something a Christmas movie, then Christmas Carol's out of there, because the mall Santa don't count. But or Christmas Story, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 24 hours.
Oh, Jesus. So yeah, with this, the setup is that John is a New York cop, and he is on his way to see his estranged wife Holly, who has moved to L.A. and is working for the Nakatomi Corporation. And she and John are trying to reconcile, and I guess they haven't seen each other in a few months, and they're pretty much on the outs. Like, the kids are with her in LA and everything else, and he's still back in New York doing his thing. And this was supposed to be an opportunity for them to get together, try to work things out, and find some kind of compromise. Things go sour rather quickly because once he gets to the
Christmas party.
Yeah, the Christmas party, it is immediately. I mean, he's there long enough to meet the owner, argue with his wife, and then it's gunshots. It's like he literally has no time to do anything.
He was kind of like cleaning up before.
Yep, because there's a guy on the plane, which I think he's probably your favorite character in the whole movie. Because what does he tell John about helping him get over his fear of flying? What does he tell him to do when he lands?
He has to take his shoes off and socks off and make fists on the floor.
Yep.
With his toes.
Yep. He just keeps saying it. He's like, fists with your toes. He's like, works every time. And so John takes that advice to heart, and when he does get into the little office where he's getting changed and cleaned up for the party, he takes off his shoes and he's making little fists with his toes on the carpet, which to this day, I don't know what that does. I'm like, is it like a thing that comforts you? Is this some static
helps
shit?
your mind, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like, does that really work? I need to know.
It hurts my toes when I do that.
I've based my whole life around Die Hard, so I need to know if this actually works. But yeah, so when the terrorists come in, or what we think are terrorists in the beginning, they take over the tower, take everybody as hostage, and John slips away undetected. But he could only have enough time to grab his gun. He has no socks, no shoes, no shirt. He's wearing a wife beater, pants, and a gun. And that is it.
The essentials.
Right. Gotta have a wife beater. And the movie then proceeds from there to, you find out that the quote-unquote terrorists are actually bank robbers, and they're using being terrorists as a front. Because what their plan is to rob the building, $640 million in bearer bonds, which I still don't know what that is either. I only know what it is. I've only ever heard that term because I've seen this movie. But anybody out there listening, please tweet at me what the fuck bearer bonds are, please. But the plan is to steal the money and then to pretend to be taking hostages on a helicopter to leave, and they were going to blow up the building and make it seem as though they were killed in the explosion so they can get away with the money.
Yeah.
Obviously, when they take over the building, they do not know that John is there at first. John ends up pulling the fire alarm to try to get the attention of the police, because you got to remember, this movie takes place in 1988. There ain't no cell phones, ain't no social media, ain't nobody chirping nobody, none of that shit.
And they turned the phones off.
Yep. They cut the phone lines to the building and shit. At some point they cut the power to. No, the FBI cuts the power to the building. Yeah, and a bunch of other stuff. So they've planned out pretty well, how they're gonna do this. And because John is cut off from the outside world, his only way to communicate is he pulls the fire alarm to the building to get 911 to send an officer or a fire department or something out there. Well, they come, the terrorists are prepared for this, and they, sweet talk him, send him on his way. During the time where the cop is talking with them, they send up one of the terrorists to try and find out who pulled the fire alarm. Him and John get a confrontation. They have a fight. They fall down the stairs. Dude breaks his neck.
Mm-hmm.
John then finds a couple other guys, and they get into a shootout. He shoots the one, because when the one guy comes up at first, he's like, "Freeze, asshole, put your hands in the air," police or whatever. And then another guy comes around the corner and starts shooting. He kills that guy, and then he runs off, and he runs under a table, and the dude gets up on the table, and he's like reloading his gun, and he's like, "The next time you have a opportunity to kill somebody," he's like, "don't hesitate." And John's like, "Thanks for the advice," and then shoots him like up his kneecaps, into his dick and balls, into like his abdomen. Like, the dude's on top of the table. John's laying underneath the table, and he's just shooting up.
Mm-hmm.
So he's catching ball sack full of bullets just the whole time. And I'm like, damn, that is a fucked up I don't think a single bullet hit him above his waistline. I swear to God. So he kills that dude, and he sees Powell, the cop, leaving. And he's like, fuck, like, they're going to leave. Like, we're going to be fucking dead. Like, I need to get this dude's attention. So he breaks the fucking window and throws the dude's dead body out onto his police car.
Yep. Splat.
Yep. And after he hits the car, Powell, like, puts it in reverse and shit. And he's, like, skirting off. And then the terrorists see, like, oh, shit, he's going to know. So we got to hurry up and kill him. So they start shooting at his car and shit. And he gets on the walkie. He's like, this is Sergeant Al Powell, whatever. He's like, I'm at Nakatomi Plaza. He's like, they're turning my car into Swiss cheese. I need backup now. Now, goddammit, now.
Mm-hmm.
He like drives off the fucking thing and shit. It's hilarious.
And then his car like crashes backwards.
Yeah, man. He like falls out the car and shit. There's like Twinkie dust on him and all kind of shit. Oh man, it's hilarious. But yeah, from there, John proceeds to take out the terrorists one by one. And he has no support, no help from the outside world at all.
No.
Like, the police have basically locked off the building, but they're not coming in. And when they do try to come in, the terrorists have fucking rocket launchers and blow their asses to fucking hell when they try to come in there. So they wait for the feds to come. And during this time, John, the entire movie never actually sees Powell until the very end.
Yeah.
When they actually meet face to face for the first time. And that's one of the things that I thought was really smart about this movie, is that one of the things that makes it so much different than all the other movies that came out in the 80s, action movies, where you had like people like, Stallone and Schwarzenegger and, they flexing with their shirt off with a Uzi, just like mowing down a field of fucking people, and he's just one guy. Whereas in this was one of the first action movies, and every action movie for decades since this was the one normal guy that was just caught up in a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, yes, he is a cop. He's not a completely normal, quote-unquote, person, but he's not some big muscle-bound, dude. Because if you think about it, in all the fights in the movie, John barely wins. Like, he never just whoops somebody's asses. He, like, barely wins by, like, the skin of his teeth type shit. When he kills the very first guy, the one who he puts the Santa hat on, and he's like, ho, 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 now I have a machine gun. He didn't even kill that dude. They fell down the stairs together, and that dude's neck just happened to break.
Exactly.
Like, John didn't even kill him. He just died by accident.
He got lucky a few times.
Yeah, like when he, when the guy that he shoots in the dick and shit. I'm like, if that dude didn't have to reload right then, John would have been dead.
Mm-hmm.
When he fights Carl, the guy the dude he put the Santa hat on, that was Carl's brother.
Yep.
So all throughout the movie, Carl's like on a mission, like, I'm finna find this motherfucker. He like, I don't give a fuck about this money, about none of this other bullshit. Fuck the police outside, fuck these hostages, fuck Hans. I'm finna find this motherfucker and I'm finna kill his ass. So he has like a laser focus through the whole movie, like, I'm finna find this motherfucker because he killed my brother. So when he gets into the fight with Carl, he barely beats Carl. Like, I think they get on that point where they're fighting on the stairs and John sees that chain and he wraps it around his neck and pushes him.
And he still didn't die.
Yeah, and at the very end he comes back, yeah. And I was like, you know, thinking back, I don't think he actually beats up anybody.
No.
Like, every fight he gets out of, he, like, by the skin of his teeth or just dumb luck.
Yeah.
Pretty much, like, just some okey doke, like, oh, well, they looked the other way at the right moment, so I shot his ass and got away.
Pure luck.
And that's what makes this movie so good, I think, is that, you know, it makes John a relatable character, and it makes it to where you feel that you could be in this situation and you could be doing all this stuff. Because he never...
I would hope not, but...
Yeah, right. Because he never does anything, like, superhuman or something that, like, a normal person couldn't do. Like, the one thing that kind of pulls me out of the movie... it's one of my favorite scenes because of the line he says, but the one thing that kind of pulls me out is when he's in the elevator shaft and he has to use the strap from the gun, and he, like, wedges the gun in the wall, and he's, like, shimmying down the elevator shaft, and then he has to, like, jump from the one over to the air duct. That was the one thing where I was like, for one, that fucking vinyl strap on that gun is not supporting your whole fucking body weight. Two, there ain't no way in hell with as beat up and bloody and oily and dirty as he is, where he was gonna grab that shit and not slip right off.
Exactly.
And two, it's like, come on, man. I've seen air ducts in fucking buildings and shit. No human being is fitting inside that shit.
Plus it would have bent.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, like, they have the scene where Carl is, like, touching it with the gun, trying to figure out where he is. And it's like, you didn't even have to do that. You can't tell me that there wasn't a big dip where he was laying inside that shit.
He's got to be like 220.
Oh, no. Bruce Willis at that time? Hell no. He would have been lucky to have been 200 pounds. No, he's probably like $170, $180 at the most. And that was when he was wet. No, hell no. Because I was going to say, I'm over 200, and Bruce Willis ain't nowhere near as big as I am as he was in that movie. So I'm like, hell no. Unless you count the hair.
That's 20 pounds on its own.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But, yeah, no. He is the template for what every other action movie wanted to be after that. They were like, or this movie in general, because every action movie after this was, the pitch was, okay, it's going to be Die Hard, but on a bus. No, I'm serious. Speed. That's how we got that movie. Die Hard, but on a boat. Under Siege. That's how we get that movie. I don't know what the fuck Snakes on a Plane was supposed to be. I think that should have been Die Hard on a Plane, but that movie's just weird. But anytime it's like one person stuck somewhere fighting against a bunch of other people, basically Die Hard on a blank. That's what it was. And to be fair, I've been rambling through this because I wanted to try and get the setup and all that fun stuff. What did you think of the movie?
I went into it not really expecting much.
Yeah, you didn't want to see this at all.
I didn't really. But by the end of it, I really liked it. I wasn't bored. I enjoyed it.
Good. And I haven't told you. I was like, it got all your favorite people in it. You got Bruce Willis in it. I don't know if you ever watched Family Matters or if you care.
I did.
I'm like, hey, the dad from Family Matters
I
is
watched reruns.
Oh, well, yeah, of course you did. And
Professor Snape.
Professor Snape is in it. Alan Rickman. Like,
I didn't recognize him at all.
I know, because he ain't got that jet black hair, and he's like 30 years younger.
He popped up later in the movie, and he was like talking to what's his nuts?
Bruce Willis?
Yeah, he was talking to Bruce Willis's character.
Mm.
And
when they meet each other?
Yeah, and when he was being when he was trying to be American.
Yeah.
And I said something, and
he's
you're like,
oh, you're one of them? He's like, oh God, don't kill me.
And you're like, that's him. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't recognize him at all.
I would say the accent threw your ass off, I guess.
Yeah.
I think, though, not only did this movie become the template for every other action movie that came out for a long time, but I feel that Hans Gruber was the template for villains in those movies from here on out.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, most action movies for a long time, they still kind of do it now. They always have, it's an American movie. Everybody is American in it. But they always have a British villain in the movie. And I swear to God, they're all trying to be Hans Gruber. Now, granted, in the movie, he's supposed to be German.
Mm-hmm.
And he does talk with a German accent, or the best German accent that he can put on in the role. But it's just the fact that it's just someone with an accent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh yeah, man, they scary. Yeah, make them the villains. Because he had a theater he had a background in theater and shit like that, performing on stage.
Oh.
Before he started doing movies and stuff like that. So I mean, he's a thespian. He's an actor and shit. He's like holding a skull and shit and like talking to the air. Like, yeah, he's an actor. So he brought a lot to the role that I think really elevated the movie beyond what was just on the page. I mean, it's a tight script. Like, the story is very concise and very focused. It doesn't have a lot of scenes with like people monologuing for 20 minutes about they plan.
No.
You don't have shit where there's like, goofy side characters doing shit, even though the cab driver or the limo driver,
Argyle,
they cut to him a few times, but that was just like a quick second and it was done. But you didn't have like all the goofy, like you had the cops, which were, besides Powell, they were the most inept fucking police force I've seen.
Without them.
I was like, God damn, man, like how is like crime not like an all-time high in LA? Because y'all are terrible fucking cops. The FBI agents, Big Johnson and Little Johnson, they were, Jesus Christ,
Big
man.
Dick
like,
and Little Dick.
Yeah, like they were like so callous to like the potential loss of human life. They're like, yeah, we might lose, a third of the hostages or so. Like, so I can live with those odds. Like, yeah, that's fine.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, we want choppers out of the building. They're like, okay, we finna bring attack helicopters with guns on them and shit. And it's like,
they were just looking to kill people.
Yeah, like their whole thing. I get it. Look, we don't negotiate with terrorists, all that shit. I get it. But your plan should not be, we just go and kill everybody and then we know the terrorists are dead.
No.
We just kill everybody. The special effects in this movie, especially too for the time at 88, are really good. Like, they really did blow up that skyscraper and shit. Mm-hmm. It was under construction at the time, so when you see him on the unfinished floors and shit, because they even say a line in the movie like, some of the floors aren't done.
Yeah.
That was really what it looked like at that point, because they were still working on it.
And didn't have to pay much for
set building. Right, set design, hell yeah. They just like, come on, turn the cameras on, shit. Turn us the lights in this bitch.
We paid $5 to make this movie.
Hell yeah, shit. We gave a janitor a fucking 20 and sent him on his way.
We used all real explosives.
Right. Yeah, and they did use special effects to add more like particle effects, make the flames bigger, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But they really did blow shit up, though.
Yeah.
And there was real helicopters and all that, because there was no CG at that point, so... It's like, hey, if you can't do it in camera, then you ain't doing it. And the way it's shot is really well done, too, because I made a comment about it when we were watching the movie about how the way the sets are lit and just the different, like, camera moves that they do. Like, there's a scene where Hans realizes that Holly is John's husband, because he finally flips up that picture that she has in her office that's turned face down, and he sees John. And because he's met John and knows his face now, he's like, oh, you're his fucking wife. Like, holy shit.
I was wondering when that was going to happen.
Yeah, because it was smart the way they wrote the script, because they have to fight in the beginning about her changing her last name.
Yeah.
But even though Ellis, he is the true villain of the fucking movie. Ellis, he's like, come on, John boy, it's me, Ellis. I was like, oh my God. He literally doesn't know John
Bobby
from
baby.
Adam. He doesn't know him at all. All he knows is that he wants to fuck John's wife. That's all he know. And because, like, remember when he first meets Ellis, he's like, show him the watch. She's like, oh, show him. He's like, no, go on, show him the watch. And he shows. He's like, yeah, it's a gift. He's like, for all the hard work that Holly's done. He's like, yeah, it's a Rolex. I was like, yeah, clearly Ellis bought her that fucking watch. Like, she tries to play it off like, oh, it was a gift from the office, like everybody went out. No. Ellis got her that fucking watch. That's where that came from.
Bobby baby.
Oh, God. And he's like, John, come on, how can you say that after all these years? Like, come on. He's like, tell him you don't know me. Tell him you don't fucking know me. And he's like, John, come on, baby. Like, it's me. It's Ellis. Bubby, baby. Come on. Yeah, I don't know why I'm turning into Andrew Dice Clay. It's like, oh, hey. But, yeah, no, Ellis was on some bullshit. But he has a few funny moments in it, but I like the fact that Ellis tells Hans what John's real name is.
Yeah.
And shit. Because he's been telling the other cop just to call him Roy for Roy Rogers, the cowboy actor. And he finds out that his name is John McClane, but he doesn't know that Holly is John's wife because she's using her maiden name, Gennaro. And when he figures it out, there's a scene where he stands up and the camera's like below him and it like pans up him and there's like a little like emergency light that's on in the background. And the way the light catches the lens just right, it does like a lens flare right before you see Hans's face. It's just little moments like that where it's like, this could have just been a silly throwaway action movie. No big name people were in it. Nobody had nothing invested in this movie. They made it on a budget of like $24 million. It made like almost $150 million. So it made his money back and some, but they didn't know at the time that they had a hit. As a matter of fact, when they had trailers coming out for the movie, audiences reacted bad to it because they were like, oh, it's Bruce Willis. Oh, yeah, because at the time he was just the funny cop on that TV show. Like, he was not anything that anybody took seriously as an action star. Same thing with Michael Keaton when they said that he was going to be Batman. It was like, really? The dude from Mr. Mom? Like, what the fuck? And so when audiences reacted negatively to it, they actually changed the poster and tried to minimize Bruce Willis's face on the poster and make like the skyscraper a bigger image on it.
Oh my god!
To try and not really like keep on the deal. Like, yeah, he in this, but just ignore that. Just look at all these explosions and shit. Yeah, Christmas, right?
God.
Yeah, I love that. I think that this is one of the few action movies that has held up over time. Like, there's nothing in it. And it's almost timeless because, yes, we know it takes place in the 80s, and he's like, yeah, call me on the car phone and all that shit in the limo.
He's smoking in the airport.
Exactly, right, and inside the Nakatomi Tower, but there's nothing really in it, and like the computers and shit are antiquated.
But still.
But there's nothing in it to be like, oh, this takes place in 1980, you know, like, or in 1988. It's a smart script. I think that the action is well done. It has a very relatable protagonist because, I mean, they took the man's shoes. Like, god damn, it's like, if you can't relate to him after that, it's like, I mean, he running around on broken glass, bleeding all over the place and shit. It's like, come on, man. He had to duct tape a gun to his back because he had no holsters or nothing.
Yeah.
If that had been Schwarzenegger, he'd came with like an M60 with a chain, a belt of bullets wrapped around him. You know, he'd had two M60s, one in each hand, just shooting, just screaming the whole movie. It probably would have been dope, actually. I actually want to see that movie. But all that being said, I don't begrudge you if you don't think that Die Hard is the greatest thing ever. I mean, it's flawed in some places. It's good. But yeah, no, it's a good movie, but no. Is it the greatest thing since sliced bread?
No.
No, of course not.
Would I watch it again? Yeah.
Of course. You've been watching this shit every Christmas now.
Damn.
Shit, these motherfuckers gonna be watching the Christmas Story. We've been watching Die Hard on repeat. But you're gonna know all the lines. Every Christmas, you're gonna be like, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Oh. But yeah, no, I mean, if I don't begrudge anybody that doesn't love the movie, but I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody that says it's a bad movie. Subjectively, you may not like it, but objectively, it's real hard to say it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
And that's why I get so frustrated with you, is because I tell you, I don't watch bad shit on purpose, okay? If something is bad, I'll see it by accident the first time because I don't know if it's bad. But I'm not going to go, there are so many hours in a day. There are so many years I'm going to be alive. I'm not going to be wasting them watching shit that I know I don't like. So if I tell you, hey, this is good, you should watch this, give me a little bit of credit. Come on. I have yet to show you something that I said was good that you didn't like.
That you thought was good?
Yeah.
Godzilla.
I didn't say
You thought it was gonna be good.
Yeah, because I hadn't seen it yet. Yeah, and I was probably more mad at that shit than you was by the end of it. But I mean, I've yet to be like, I have seen this and I think it's good. I want you to watch it, and you like, yeah, that wasn't good.
I'm sure it's happened once in our relationship.
No, it's never happened. That being said, go watch Die Hard if you haven't seen it already. You got A-Train seal of approval for the shit, so that should be enough. And she don't even like half of this shit, so it's like if she said it was good, then you know it's got to mean something. That being said, I wanted to keep it short this week. It's going to be short and sweet. Sorry. It's going to be pretty stripped down episode from what we normally would. We will be back to our old selves again next week. Don't worry. But thank you again for joining us. Please have a Merry Christmas. Be nice to somebody, and don't bring the fruitcake. Leave that shit at home. Nobody fucking likes it. Nobody. All right. Later, guys.